Good evening and welcome
Good
to
evening.
another live session from us here at the Kajiado We Want. Our sincere apologies for starting the session a bit late. We had a bit of issues with our technology, but I'm glad we are back and on. So, welcome very much. And just a short brief as to who we are. We are a CBO registered to focus on community development within our county, number 34. And we focus on matters infrastructure, water and sanitation, health, drug abuse, education and literacy, environment issues, trade, industry, and job creation. We also do advocacy and focus on issues security and community policing. We aim to achieve development in our county through creating awareness. And by these, we have issues that we tackle, topical issues that we tackle, things that our members will want to discuss. And these we do through creation of awareness through our live talks every Wednesday. And this is one of our live talks. We also create awareness or have change in our county by lobbying government through public participation, petitioning, or even submitting memorandas on issues that will be affecting us within this county. And lastly, we aim to change our county and ensure community development by creating partnership either with individuals, association, entities, or non-governmental organizations. Of course, we keep saying that we are not a political outfit and we do not support any political leader against another, but we support them by ensuring that whatever matters development they are focusing on for our county, we support as a CBO. So we work with them, both elected and non-elected leaders. The key values for our members within the CBO are commitment, integrity, respect for one another, and of course, volunteerism. Our membership is drawn from all parts of Kajiado County. So if you are in Kajiado North, Kajiado Central, Kajiado East, and Kajiado North, you're very welcome to join us. And of course, we urge everyone to subscribe to our YouTube pages and our other social media pages. So, welcome once again, and thank you for taking your time to join us in this live talk. And today we are privileged to have a very special guest with us, a lady who is passionate about matters gender, and she is a gender-based violence, uh, anti-gender-based violence advocate or champion. And she will be taking us through an interesting discussion on the effects of gender-based violence on mental health in and within relationships. So karibu sana Jane Wanjiku.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. We are happy to have you.
I'm happy to. It's all the pleasure is all mine, and I'm humbled so much.
Yes, yes, Jane.
Yes.
So let me give you the floor by, and you could start by telling us who Jane Wanjiku is.
Thank you. Jane Wanjiku is a GBV champion, and I'm under an organization by the name Adeo, and we have been doing a lot of counseling. I handle matters on GBV, that is gender-based violence. Also giving a bit of counseling here and there. I also do youth mentorship on drugs and alcohol. So I believe that's the area that I'm so much in to ensure that our community and or the people within the surrounding or areas that I'm able to reach, I make an impact, a remarkable change, and service to humanity. That is the passion I have, ensuring that I make a difference in someone's life rekindling back the self-esteem that anyone could have lost. And tonight, I'm ready to share more and hear more and answer the questions that may come along. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jane, for that introduction. And I know I have seen you being passionately discussing matters gender. And of course, today it's a topic that we hardly talk about. It's a topic that we keep under wraps. So if I just allow you to have the floor and give us what you have, yes, before we could ask our questions and join in into the conversation.
Yeah, thank you very much once again. Today, we are talking about so much on gender-based violence on mental health in and within relationship. Mostly now we have seen that so many people are going through mental health, mostly in relationships whereby people are not able to speak out, people are not able to give some of the challenges that they are going through. And when we talk about mental health, we talk about so much on the psychology of a person that leads to a lot of problems in social life. Mostly, I would say, when we have these issues of mental health, when the self-esteem of a person goes down, that person is not even able to work well, maybe in the working areas, even in their families, the social life, even in the spiritual realm. We see people in the spiritual ways, people just get kind of they get kind of withdrawing themselves. And mental health is affecting so many people within our society. It is affecting both gender, it is affecting people, even the young children. It's holistic, it is all over. So this tonight, as we talk about in relationship matters, where people, maybe it is a couple, maybe people are married, or even those who are dating, we are seeing that people are not able to speak up. They're not able to say what they are going through. And within themselves, they are losing a lot. They are losing themselves. And we see with mental health, it brings of a lot of challenges, a lot of problems in our society, in our working areas. So tonight, as we talk about all these, we are going to see the challenges. We are going to see how effective or how people are getting affected through the mental health, how people are even how the challenges which are coming along with it. We are seeing so high rates of divorces. We are seeing people who are committing suicide. We are seeing people who are reaching to a point of getting into drugs and all that. We are seeing, if at all, maybe even the abuses. That when you talk about the GBV, we have the emotional, we have the physical, we have the psychological torture. Through the mental health, it is bringing all these chaos. And if we don't speak up, if we don't come up, we try to get solutions, we are going to lose our society. We are going to lose people in different sectors. And we know very well we are working on well to improve our economic status, our social status, all holistic ways. So tonight, if in any case there is any question about it, here we are, we share, we talk more, because personally I've been so much on the ground. I've been dealing with people are depressed, people are stressed, people are wondering where to turn to. So many people are losing themselves. And at times when we talk about mental health, it all starts from the mind. I normally say the way you set your mind, the way you figure out things, the way you yourself you want it to be. At times I say that is how it turns to. Although although at times situations are pushing people to this critical condition of mental health, I'll say it tonight. It is a sickness. It is not something that is so easy. It's a type of a kind of a disease in people, in the relationship ways, in the working areas, in all holistic manner. And I believe as you are going through it, I would say always be your brother's keeper. Be there to listen to somebody. For this issue of mental health, for us to be able to bring it down, for us to be able to have a productive society, it is a high time that people should learn to speak up, to speak themselves. Get a person, have someone close that you can share your problems with. We normally say that a problem talked about is halfway solved. If you keep quiet, it is bringing to a lot of chaotic. And in our society, we have been seeing people who are committing suicides. We are seeing people who are getting frustrated. We are having also on the part of youth, because I've also been handling youth. I have a group that I'm learning that is holding 35 members. They are alcoholic and also they use drugs. I've been trying to make sure that I reform these people by doing what? Enabling them to rekindle back their self-esteem, showing them that they can make it. They are capable. They come together, we speak, we share, and with all this, it is going to show us the way, it is going to make a way, it is going to help us to come back and have a healthy society. So on mental health, it is a lot. It's a topic by itself which is carrying a lot in it. It is something that we can talk, we can solve, because we see that it's something that is bringing a lot of distractions, a lot of pain, a lot of things that people they regret. In matters of relationship, we see people anafika mahali mtu anasema, I just wish I never got into this relationship. I just wish I never got married to this guy, or I wish I never dared to date this person. So, like a case that we had of a guy who was about to wed, I think last month, when this young man committed suicide, all because the lady has told him that she's not ready to settle for marriage. And this guy did not have time even to speak to somebody. He wasn't able to bring out his heart and say, this is what I'm going through. So when we are talking about mental health, it is carrying the holistic part of life of a person. It is carrying a big load that if we don't bring, or if we don't come up with a solution, it is going to pull down our society. And something also that I would say is this: if something is too heavy in your heart, if you feel something it's beyond your reach, it is beyond your control, pray. Even prayers are the best. We normally hear that prayer moves mountain. Have that time as a person to sit down and say, I can make it. I am somebody. I can have a bright future. If it is the working place, say, regardless of the challenges that I'm facing today, tomorrow will be bright. Weeping endures for nights, but joy comes in the morning. If at all it is on relationship, and this is what today we are tackling so much on, if it is your fiancé, if this is your wife, sit down. I believe in every relationship, in every, when two people you're together, if you're relating, if you're in love, sit down. Communication is the key to most of the things that communication is the key to most problems. You solve by communicating. Because in relationships, you're seeing scenarios whereby when someone is going through this mental health, he or she cannot talk to the spouse or cannot talk to the other person. Communication is the key. Something else I'll also talk about this night that is bringing a lot of challenges on mental health, it is trust. People are losing trust on one another each and every day. The insecurity in relationships, whereby if my spouse is a working class lady, maybe the husband will feel inferior, will feel maybe insecure. My wife may go and maybe someone else will see him or her. If the people who are dating, and we have this on our youths, whereby people are going through a lot of psychological torture, someone will stay thinking that something bad may happen to the spouse, something bad, maybe this person may come to a time and say, maybe I'm not worth. So when we are having all this, it's a time that people sit, we communicate, talk. Talking is therapy. Have a moment of sharing what is in your heart. Because if we don't go along this, the mental health is bringing a lot of destructive, suicidal. People come into regrets. People get into diseases. People get sick. So we have to sit, we have to talk, we have to make sure that our society is able to bring up a solution. I remember we had a talk on the wall where even people are talking about the marital affairs, the sex in the marriage. And people are seeing it and saying that there's no abuse. Mental health even brings abuses in the relationships. in about the family life, whereby maybe someone even loses the self-esteem and feels he as a man maybe is not able to meet the needs of the wife. So I believe it's a high time as society. It's a moment that we fight this monster of mind of mental health, because emotionally it is bringing a lot of chaos. Someone don't want even to associate him or herself with other people. Someone who lives a life of withdrawing, a bitter life, whereby someone lives in regrets and says, I wish I knew. Or maybe, why have I to go through this? And also right now, according to even to the economic status of our country, we are very much aware that we are not in a stable moment. Each and every day, things are hiking, the fuel, the food products, a lot is happening. And this also is another way that you bring a lot of chaos in even in relationships as we are talking today. It is something that is going to affect most of us mentally. But we have a moment of saying, I can make it and I can be able to overcome this. Back to you, dear. Hello. Hi. Hello.
Viewers, kindly confirm whether you can hear me. Wanjiko seems to have lost me,
Yes,
but you
I can hear you.
can hear me. Oh, amazing.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Wanjiko. And as I was mentioning, we are looking at the effects of gender-based violence on mental health, and especially in and within our relationships. And we are talking, when we talk about relationships, we are talking about marriages and any other relationships that you would be in. And Wanjiko, I can see one question that is being asked by Beatrice. Beatrice, thank you very much for tuning in. And Beatrice is asking, how do you deal with a spouse who is never available, or who doesn't want to sit down and communicate when there are issues in the house or at home? How do you address that?
That one I can say the best thing to do is to seek counseling. At times, it is better to go for a third party. If both of you are not coming up together, if you're not able to sit down, you can, if at all you have a close friend, someone that you trust, maybe for those who walked down the aisle, I can say maybe you had the bride, you had your best mate. Sorry, that yes, that is what I wanted to say about. You can call that person on board, you sit down and discuss it, because it is good to solve a problem as early as possible. Rather than you just sit, you don't get a solution, the problem becomes so chaotic and brings other things later which may not be good. So I would say the best advice, get someone that you trust that you can share the problem with. Yes.
Okay. Very,
Yeah.
very sound advice from you, Anjiko. Thank you for that. Um,
Welcome.
from my end, I know most of the times when we hear about gender-based violence,
Yes.
and even from my reading and research, the figures or statistics seem to show that gender-based violence is most of the time associated with women.
Yeah.
And in terms of statistics of men, because as studies are showing that men, our boys, experience gender-based violence, but in terms of reporting or coming forward to talk about it, we see very few. I believe I was seeing about maybe 9 or 19% of men and boys coming forward. What would you attribute it to, and how best can we have people speaking more about it, removing the stigma from this conversation, and not just associating it with women?
Thank you very much. I'm so grateful for that question. Of late, I had an incident. I've been so much on the ground whereby a man got violated by the woman. And we have forms or different types of gender-based violence. We have the physical, we have the emotional, and we have the psychological. And this was physical, whereby the woman just had to stab the husband. It is mostly happening on men. But one thing, a major problem we are having with our men, most men don't speak up. They don't share. They don't say what they are going through. And at times, they are feeling that the government itself or the society is protecting the women more than men. We have what we are calling the gender equality. We all have our own rights. Everybody has got his or her rights. But our men aren't talking. They get violated, they get tortured, they get emotionally tortured. And that's, I think, we also had the topic whereby I had written on the wall where a man got jailed because of denying the woman, because of having sex with the wife, whereby the court said that it wasn't through consent. Sometimes these men are going through challenges, but they cannot speak up. And maybe the best way this man will have to do, maybe it is to force the woman to have sex with. So I would say that men also are also going through the GBV, but majority don't want to speak up. We have these incidences whereby it is normally said that mwanaume ni kujikaza, mwanaume hastahili kulia, mwanaume ni kuvumilia. And we have taught it even, it is starting even when our boys are growing, whereby it is said that, yeah, ajikaze kimwanaume, be stiff.
True.
But I still say they have a heart. They are still human. They need to be heard. They need to be protected. And also something else, even when it comes to the cases of GBV, I've been in courts.
Jane, we seem to have lost you for a minute.
I can see you now. I'm back.
Yes, yes, Karibu.
Thank you.
Sorry, you were telling us about a case you had when it comes to men and talking openly. So, what do you think we can do to have people speaking more freely about it and also knowing when to seek help? Or at what point, what would be a telltale sign that you need to seek help? And this is actually gender based violence. Because at times we also associate gender based violence with, physical harm. But I have heard you talking about emotional, mental harm. At what point do I know that now I am in trouble? I need to seek help.
Now, if I go to the lineup of men still, and even I'll also talk about women,
Mhm.
we have some incidences whereby that men, even they fear going to the administration part and reporting their cases on the gender desk. They feel that if I go and get a fellow man and tell him that I'm going through this, maybe this person will laugh at me and ask me, how comes that wewe ni mwanaume na labda mwanamke anakukalia? Or like now the case I had, some even were laughing at that guy and asking him, mbona inafika mahali ati mpaka mwanamke is stabbing you? I would say this, we have to listen to everybody, starting from our administration. Let them build a self-esteem for these men. Let them listen to them, because we are seeing some of them are even committing suicide. Or even a man gets to a point, he thinks of making sure that he takes off the family. Wengine wanajichomea mpaka kwa nyumba, wanaona heri nipige kiberiti. We had an incident whereby we saw even a woman also. Let me go back to a case of a woman. We had one, our neighborhood just within our constituency, and we saw what she did to her children and herself. So I would say this, it is a collective responsibility. Let people talk. And also, if you see that maybe this relationship is not working, give space to one another. If it is so critical that you are not able to speak up, and this is through now emotional, this is now when we come to emotion part of GBV. Someone is going through a lot in his heart or her heart and cannot be able to speak up. Give space, because as it piles, that is when bitterness is coming. Na tunaona wengi mtu inafika mahali anataka kujiripishia. It is emotionally, it is affecting him. You know, at times I say physical, you can be able to see that person. You're able to see how that person maybe amechapwa, amefura uso, but the worst of it is emotional. Hii ni kitu inakula mtu ndani yake. If it is beyond, take time, go to someone, get a counselor, or if take some, go and maybe have a social, go and enjoy yourself. Sometimes people are saying that life is not that you take it so hard that even you can't go somewhere and enjoy. Go for recreation. Look for something that is so good that makes you happy. If it is singing, do the singing. If it is watching a football match, do it. If it is mingling with friends that will be there to listen to you, do it. Because this issue of GBV, it's making so many people lose in themselves. It is bringing people esteem down, withdraw. People, that someone doesn't want to mingle with others, doesn't want to associate with others, even in the places of work. If at all it is the boss, kazi haitaweza kufanyika. And also I would say, be your brother's keeper. Back to you, dear.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for that, Wanjiku. And Rufus, Warari, asante sana for tuning in. I can see you. Kindly, if you have any questions for Wanjiku, any comments, any input into this discussion, you are very welcome. And before I go on, Wanjiku, I was looking at our Sexual Offences Act, and I'm seeing that the definition of what gender-based violence for us has been expanded to recognize male as victims, and the definition just talks about a range of acts of violence committed against a female because they are female and a male because they are male. Do you think that definition is sufficient enough? Because you just
Aha.
talked about acts of violence committed against a female because she's female and against a male because they are male. Do you think that definition is sufficient?
To my own opinion, I would feel like it's not such much sufficient. It should be for both. Although it is good, it is sufficient. Yes, it is, because all of them, they have equal rights. I have my rights and the males have their rights. But I would also say it should be a collective responsibility for both genders. Everybody needs to be protected against violence. We are Kenyans, we are one nation. We all belong to families. We have our brothers or sisters. So no one should be prone, or no one should be exposed to violence. That one, it's very much okay. Both the genders, the male, the females, all of them, they require. And I would also like also to say something else as I end on men. Men have to speak up. Men have to have a time of bringing out themselves and saying, if you're going through it, let them speak up. They have equal rights. They deserve the best. They have to be protected. And I always believe that men have that ego of feeling he's a man. He needs to be felt like a man. He needs to be seen like a man. And to our dear ladies, I have been seeing it also. Don't lower the self-esteem of your man, or the self-esteem of the boy child that we are bringing up, because at the end of the day, we are not going to have a productive society. And also to the men, also take care of the other gender. Also, you know, with women, we go through a lot, and we expose, sometimes we expose ourselves emotionally, we react emotionally. Be there for each other. If there's something that tonight I would talk about and say, be your brother's keeper. Don't be too selfish on someone. The measure you measure will be measured unto you. Don't do something to somebody that you yourself, kama ni mwanaume na labda ameenda kazi, hajaweza kutimiza the basic needs, don't compare that man with another man. Umwambie hata heri mwanaume fulani. Or maybe someone is better than him. Never do it. because that is also the ways that we are getting the GBV cases. Provocation. Most of our men who are in jail, some went through provocation. Someone was lowered the self-esteem. What was expected of this man? He reacted back. And maybe through the reaction, he did something mysterious that he could not have done. Let us not drive somebody to something that may make that the future of that person maybe be cut short. Take care of someone. Don't allow these things. If it is matters of sex, because we are also seeing when it comes to the domestic violence on mental health and all that, also if at all it's the sex life in marriage, sit down and talk about it. Let it not be something that will trigger a lot, will trigger a lot of quarrels, will trigger a lot of battles, will trigger a lot of mistrust, because I'm seeing something that is bringing people down. It is trust. People have lost trust on one another. But if we sit back, if we talk, if we share, if we take care of someone's ego and self-esteem, we are going to have a very productive society. Back to you, dear.
Okay, thank you, Wanjiku. Allow me to share a bit of statistics that I came across, and these I am getting from the Gender Violence Recovery Center. So they were saying that 1 in 3 Kenyan females have experienced an episode of sexual violence before they have gotten to the age of 18. So most of us, before we become adult females, we experience cases of sexual violence. Between 39% to 47% of Kenyan women experience gender-based violence in their lifetime. And unfortunately, again, we are ranking among the highest in the world, which I don't think is a very good thing. Of course, men are also survivors of gender-based violence, but for these, you find that the ratings are a bit lower. We find that it's about 5% for the boys and 3% for the men, and 1 in every 5 Kenyan male has experienced an episode of sexual violence before they have attained the ages of 18. So again, you see, there would be fewer men or women. And now that takes us then to the next question. And I can see Rufus is thinking, as I am thinking, what is our role? So I will divide it in 3. So Rufus is asking, do the police have a role to play in controlling or mitigating gender-based violence? The second group I'd like you to address, Wanjiku, is the community. Does the community have a role to play in addressing gender-based violence? And the third group that I'd like you to just look at is government. What can government do, or what role does government play in addressing gender-based violence?
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll start with the administration, the way you have said it. They really have a corrective responsibility. They have a role to play. And at times, I would say they disappoint us. As a GBV champion, when we bring these cases on board, we see a lot of compromising. What am I saying when I talk about compromising? It's a case, this is where a minor has maybe gone through defilement. And after reporting, when the perpetrator comes, if at all is someone who is, let me just use a simple way. If he's a wealthy person, you see, maybe anatoa kitu kidogo, and the case is withdrawn. So I would say it happens to a minor. It is at a high rate. It's a high rate on sexual abuse. It is very high. So on the administration part, I would say they are supposed to play a role whereby justice is done. And justice is well done in the correct manner. The perpetrator should be taken action upon. On our community also, we have the wazee, the nyumba kumi and all that, the chiefs also, although it's also a part of the administration too, it's a corrective responsibility. Let us not have the kangaroo courts. If you want to control these cases, let us not have kangaroo courts whereby people speak behind and say litendeka, sasa huyu ni jirani, unajua, kunaenda hivi. We have to protect our girls. It is very true that the women rate cases of sexual abuse, it is very high, even in the working places, whereby if a woman, a lady, that if she wants to get a certain job, a certain position, she is sexually abused either by the boss, lazima utimize mahaja zangu za mwili ndio nikupatie kazi. I would say it is at rampart. It is too high. And this is an abuse. And I'll say this, never dare do it. Don't compromise. In fact, we should take action on that person. On our men, it also happens. They also go through it. But as I would say, the way I said there early enough, our men, they don't speak up. They don't talk. Because it is also vice versa. In offices nowadays, we're also hearing, we have men who say that they have been going through this time in and time out, and because hataki kupoteza ile kazi sababu ya majukumu ambayo bado ako nayo, he still also be a victim. I would say our men also stand up, talk, as we are saying about women. So this thing, my dear one, it is a collective responsibility for everybody in the society to ensure that the people are not going through the sexual abuse, that they are protected. Our young girls, our women, our ladies, let them be protected. Our young men also, we have women who take advantage. We have even house helps who take advantage of these men, of these young men who are growing. So kila mtu, let us protect one another. Let us take care of one another. The administration part, let them be people who are transparent enough. Let them not compromise. I've been feeling it. I've been feeling pain. Where have some incidences, where have some cases. And you see, unasikia tu watu walikaa chini wakaongea. And we still remember this minor, mostly I'll talk on minors because any person below 18 years has no consent. That is what the Constitution says. She cannot make her own decisions. But when a mother comes and says, tuliongea tukamaliza, this girl will go through a lot of torture emotionally. They are the same girls who live to hate men for the rest of their lives, who lives a life of, they want to revenge. So it is a collective responsibility from the administration to the community, everybody. It's a holistic it is holistic. We should come up, we should talk, we should protect the women and also the men at the same time. Let us be there for one another. And I'll keep on saying, be your brother's keeper. Take care of the other person. Don't violate his or her rights. Give them the time to be who they want to be in the society. Back to you, darling.
Okay, thank you very much, Anjiko. We are learning, and what for me I am taking home is that we need to be our brothers, and in this case, our sisters' keeper, so that you cannot turn a blind eye. If something is happening to your neighbor, to somebody within your community, kindly report it. Kindly talk to people around you so that you can know when something is disturbing them. Let them know that there is help and they can get somebody to assist them. Of course, for our government, our administrators, they need to do more in ensuring that justice is served where the cases are taken to them, and of course, to respond a little bit faster. I am seeing another question here, Wanjiko, from Peter, and he is asking, what do you do after you have experienced gender-based violence? So you have experienced gender-based violence, you've probably reported it, but what next? What next? How do we move on from there?
The experience that I've got, in fact, I've gone through a lot myself. And for the survivors, I normally make sure that I try as much as I can to get safe houses for them. I'll still go back to the wall of the Kajiado We Want. There's a lady I am so glad I was looking even for her newborn baby's clothes. So most of the time, I normally take my survivors. I ensure that I get a safe place for them. If it is the young girls, we have safe houses. I'll ensure that this minor is well protected. She has got her rights. If at all it's a case, I do file, we do go through all that, and justice is normally got. And on my side, if someone is asking, how do I go about it? Sometimes it's also psychological, it tortures me. I feel pain. I normally feel at times like it is too much, it is too heavy, because this person is already tortured. And also to say it, I was a victim. And that's why I came out to be a GBV champion. I stood up and I said, I'll also be there to protect my fellow women. But in the lineup of it, as I have been doing on the GBV cases, That's also when I've come also to realize that also the other gender, the males, are going through it. And for me, I would say I had decided, and I have decided to bring hope to the society, hope, justice, and also to bring service to humanity, to ensure that we fight this monster. We make sure that our young men are not going to rot in jails also, because even for them, at times, they don't get the justice that they deserve. Sometimes even in courts, they're not able to speak up, they're not able to defend themselves. So it's a collective thing. So for me, at times it is psychologically, it emotionally, it even also affects sometimes my mental health, because I don't like seeing someone in pain. I don't want to see someone at times going to jail. I don't want to see this woman writhing in pain. I don't want to see children who are getting affected, who are getting homeless, who are not having the paternal love anymore, the separation, even the fight whereby we are having the things, the issue of co-parenting. It is not easy. And that's why I'll keep on saying, let us have a healthy society. Be there to ensure that these cases, we, even though we cannot be able to eradicate fully the GBV issues, but we can bring solutions to it.
Okay, asante sana Wanjiko for that. And viewers who would be joining us, we are discussing the effects of gender-based violence on mental health in and within relationships. And Wanjiko has just been telling us that we need to speak out, we need to look out for each other. And I continually also say that there is no shame in gender-based violence. It's not something that you wish upon yourself. And a person who is being violent or who is meting violence against a gender, either male or female, is just trying to show their dominant power, which should not be the case, and there is help that is available. Wanjiko, somebody, as we move towards conclusion, Peter is also asking what consequences are there, or what are the consequences of gender-based violence? What are the consequences of gender-based violence? I know you've been touching on them in our
Yes,
discussion, but if you
yes.
just kindly, for Peter's sake, just clarify again, what are the challenges that we are seeing?
Thank you so much, Peter. I would say that most the GBV, the gender-based violence, we have the social life. That is one. That those are the one of the consequences. In the social life, we get society. Those are the consequences. Suicidal cases are very high.
Wanjiko, we cannot get you. You are muted. Now you are unmuted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Now, the consequences or the effects of gender-based violence. One thing, we are not able to have a productive society. Reason being, when we have these cases and someone maybe is a victim or is a perpetrator and has been taken to jail, he or the person will not be able to meet the family needs. Also, something else, rampant suicidal cases, depression, stress, low self-esteem, people losing their dignity, quarrels now and then. It's it's in fact bringing a lot of effects to our people, and also a lot of mental health, as what you were talking about today. So I would say that it's bringing a lot of things, and our in our society today, with these issues, with these cases, even we are not going to be able to move forward. Economically, they'll be not be able to meet the needs of maybe of these children. If at all it's a woman who has been left out and becomes a single mother, this woman will have a big burden. If it is men, because also we are seeing also with men, wanaachiwa watoto na wamama zao, this person will not be able to work effectively, remembering that he has a kid to take care of in the evening, or he has a kid to take to school. We saw a guy who is a motorcyclist. Alikuwa anaweka katoto ndani ya the jacket itself, and he would carry his the people, anatafuta pesa kama amejifungilia mtoto kwa nini yake. So I would say gender-based violence is bringing a lot of chaos to our society. It is making us not to be productive. It is not having people working in the best way. They are mentally, they are depressed. They are looking for ways to relieve themselves. It is bringing about the drugs and alcoholism. Mwanaume labda atakaa kwa bar alewe for a whole night because he does not want to go to a house where he'll get chaos. He doesn't want to get to a house where he'll meet a woman who is more or less like, like maybe behaving like someone who, like a military commander. So I can say that it is at a very high rate. It is bringing a lot of chaos. It is not making a productive society at large.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, Wanjiko, thank you for that. And of course, we can see that the consequences of GBV will affect the victim or the person who has experience, but will also affect the community at large. Because if you're not being productive in a working environment, for instance, it means somebody else has to pick up the slack or the work that you are to be doing. Wanjiko, I know you have mentioned that part of what you do in rescuing people who have experienced gender based violence is getting them safe houses. So, do we have enough safe houses to house people who might need that safety as a result of gender based violence, or is there more that our national government, our county government can do? And actually, for the safe houses, sorry, Wanjiko, for the safe houses that you've mentioned, are they government owned or are they private owned safe houses?
Okay, thank you so much. I would say that on our government and more so our county, we need as many safe houses as we can. Those that have been alliancing with are not from our county. I would say they are private or they are owned by people. We have like one that I've been using most of my time. I've been going back to it. That is called Tags Shelter at nearby a place called Nalepo. I still have another one at Gong on your way to Bull. And it's also, this is a private, this is somebody who has come up with, she has the call for humanity. And it is very challenging because if these, most of them, if they don't get the enough funds, inabidi we go along looking for donors. Some have challenges, and that's why I keep on sometimes ninaitisha manguo. I keep on calling people, may you help with clothes, may you help with food. And I would say this for our county, Kajiado, where we are at large, our leaders, let them come on board. Let them have these safe houses. Let us have rehabilitation centers. I have also a very major issue on rehabs. Also, let me just talk about it because for our men, our boys, some of the rehabs are too expensive for them. And these alcoholic guys, these people who are going through depression, they need a place. They need somewhere they can go for counseling. And I'll say for counselors, we know it is expensive. It is at times very expensive to get a counselor. Some charges at high rates. But if our county comes together, we get good and what do I say? We get good safe houses that are able to bring that home situation, even though it is not at their usual homes, at their places, but a rescue center where this woman, where this child, where this young boy, where this small baby, as she or he is growing, she'll feel like she's at home. I also thank Hekima Place. We have the Hekima there Children's Home Center. They are taking care of it, but this we are seeing this is not a government entity. It isn't at all. This is something that is always funded. And I want to thank Madam Kate from the Rotarians. They are able to accommodate our children. But you see, they cannot be able to accommodate all. If our government chips in, if our county government, we have a lot of resources within Kajiado County, I would say it. And if these resources are well used, if they are well utilized, if our leaders come together and they say it is a time to build, to get a good place. I've been trying to connect a lot with some of them, some response. But when you go to those safe houses, we have one at Kibiko that is owned by the county government. But I would say, I'm not challenged. I'm not saying that they are not doing their best, but I'll bring a challenge. Unasikia maybe labda there's not enough food. So you cannot either be able to send that person to that place because if he or she is going through torture and then umpeleke mahali ambapo maybe not even to be able to be fed. We know the basic needs of a person: food, clothes, and shelter. So to our county government, to our government at large, let them build us so many safe houses as possible to be able to accommodate. I'm not saying that we are going to have a society which is prone to problems, but for the sake of future and for the sake of something that can happen, it's normally said make hay when the sun shines, because one day maybe the sun will not be there. Let us have these safe houses. Let us have leaders who have a call for humanity. As we are planning for other budgets, I saw in the budget that has been allocated by our county, there's not much about it. I looked at the sector of the GBV and I saw hakuna mengi imeongelelewa. There's not that much money that is allocated. We need to see that all sectors are well catered, because I would say again, GBV is there. It will be there. Children will be abandoned on the streets. But where shall we take these children? We have cases sometimes tunawasafirisha mbali. Like the lady I was having who was about to have a baby. The only safe house that was able to accommodate this woman is at Muranga. Because in our county, when I tried to inquire, they said they don't take someone who is above 25 years. But we need to come up with a solution. We love our county government. We love our leaders. Let them embrace the calling. Let them bring solution. Let us bring healing to our society. Because if we don't get solution, I promise you, I'll say chaos will be all along. But I believe we have a future, and together we can bring a change. Back to you, dear.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Wanjiku. And I can see that time is far gone.
Yeah.
Of course, when you are discussing important things, time moves very fast. So as we conclude, Wanjiku, if someone would like to get in touch with you, I know you've mentioned that at times you will need assistance for the safe houses, and of course, commending the individuals who are running these homes. I know it's not an easy task, and
Yes.
yes, they're doing a good job. And even for you, Anjiko, just giving yourself, and being a champion, I know it takes a toll on you at times. So we appreciate you and celebrate you for the good work that you're doing. So how can we get in touch with you if we need you to, help somebody, rescue somebody, or if somebody would like to just chip in and support the cause? How can we get you?
I normally have my phone number. It is on the wall. I'll give it out: 0710 314 795. I'll repeat
Sorry,
again:
Wanjiko, yes, kindly.
0710
Mhm.
314 795. And as I conclude, I would say this: we all have a collective responsibility. We all need each other. We all need to make sure that we stop GBV. It is easy. We also ensure that be your brother's keeper. Be ready to listen to somebody. Be ready to give the best you can. Be there to support. And I also want to thank everybody who has always been coming on board. People who have been financial, giving. Sometimes they offer their finances. We have those who bring along clothes. We have those even who bring along food. I would also say thank you to them. I would also like to thank the Inspector Kandisi. At times I'm called at night. We need to pick maybe a victim. At times I'm called upon, like now the tax shelter, we had a problem. There were some girls who were brought, they were minors, but they were taken from the streets and they became so violent, and he chipped in. We were able to offer the best. And also we got people who volunteered as counselors. So I would say this is a collective responsibility. If you are able, if you have a heart of humanity, let us join together. And I'll say this: at times it's not a paying job. People believe that maybe you are getting paid day in, day out, but you give your best. Give the service that you can. Don't always be in expectations that I need money. If we join hands together, if there's someone who is having flour, if you have clothes, if you're able to facilitate financially for the girls, if you're able to offer sanitary towels, that is good. And don't always, at times I tell people, don't always have that heart of expecting back. The payment belongs to God. Have a call of humanity. Be there to bring a change. Give hope to somebody. Let that someone feel there is tomorrow. And I would say this as I conclude. Always stand in the mirror and see that you are a CEO of your life. You can make it and you can bring a change. Wipe someone's tears today and tomorrow you never know about it. So that is my phone number. I also do counseling. I'm also ready to make sure that someone gets a safe place. If at all it's a girl, it is a boy, I'm saying we have a collective responsibility to all the genders. No one should be left outside. No one should feel that he or she does not fit in the society. Sisi wote ni wa Kenya, lazima tupendane, and we bring hope and we make a productive society and also, hey, a productive county too. Thank you, dear.
Thank you so much, Anjiko, for that.
Welcome.
And of course, again, thanking all of you who are able to join us this evening. This is a conversation that can take us a whole day. I don't think we are able to end. But what Anjiko is telling us, there is hope for those who have experienced or are experiencing gender-based violence. Kindly speak out. Kindly seek help. Wanjiko has given her number. She can link you up with a safe house. She can also just help in counseling and giving guidance. Of course, Wanjiko has also challenged us that there is so much we can do. We can volunteer. And you know, that is one of the core values for the CBO, the Kajiado We Want, volunteerism. So if there is a counselor out there who would like to give back to society and pay forward, then they can get in touch with Anjiko and they can help. Wanjiko, I don't know whether there are any hotlines or helplines that you can share for anyone who might want to talk or report cases other than your number.
I'm going to put it on the wall. We have one from Adele. I'll make
Okay.
sure that I'll share it. And and because I've given out my number, someone can also reach to me. I'll be able to share. And
Okay.
we came up along with it just the other day. We have formed something we are calling the VPR. That is violence response. We are ready to also to we have that we started that also initiative. We have been trained. We are ready also to respond to any forms of violence, to any form of something that may come along. So it is there. I'll make sure that I'll share it. We are a team. We are having a hotline. That is what we were working on with Safaricom, and it is already out. So let not someone feel like he or she is not safe. There is safety within our community. There is safety within Kajiado. Yes, I'm going to share it as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you so much, Wanjiko. And Wanjiko keeps mentioning a line, sorry, a wall. We have a WhatsApp group for the people within Kajiado. Anyone interested in joining, feel free to reach out to us and we will get a way of getting you as a member. Of course, I keep reminding you to subscribe to our YouTube page and click the notification bell so that you are not missing out the interesting topics that we have to discuss every other Wednesday. And of course, we are also on various social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram. So feel free to join us there. Allow me to share some numbers that I've come across as helpline or toll-free numbers that you can use to get help for gender-based violence. So the National GBV hotline, and these ones are available online, is 1195. So that's the National GBV number. The child line or the child helpline is 1196. We have a national counseling hotline, 1190. And of course, we have the Kenya Police Emergency Hotline, 999. And I know you will tell me that it doesn't work, but please go out and try it because it does work. Alternatively, for the Kenya Police, you could call 112 as the hotline that you seek help. Of course, thanking everyone who was able to join us this evening. Jefferson Kiama, I am receiving your greetings and thank you for joining us from another continent altogether. Peter, Oloip Miti, I'm also acknowledging you for being very active participants this evening. Rufus, I'm also not forgetting you. And of course, Wanjiko, thank you so, so much. I know
Welcome.
you are not home yet, but thank you for honoring us with your presence this evening and agreeing to do this for us and
Yes.
reminding us to be each other's keeper and to know that gender based violence can happen to any one of us. But if we collectively take up this responsibility, talk about it more, help out more, then there is hope. And hopefully, one day as a country, one day as a county, we are able to eliminate it and live happily together, as the good word says. And ladies and gentlemen, allow us to end there. Has been an interesting, exciting discussion. Time is much gone. In the East African time zone, we are at 9:30. So kindly allow me to end here. Thanking you all for joining us and wishing you all a lovely, lovely night. I've been your moderator for the day, Miss Kigera, and thank you so much, Jane Wanjiku.
Thank you
Good
too.
evening.
Kindly have a good evening and good night.
Evening to you tonight too.
Thank you.
Okay.